Hello dear students and welcome to the official channel of ADA 24/7 Northeast with me, Shubham sir, your English faculty here on this platform. Students, this class video is especially for the students from the beautiful state of Meghalaya. If you people are preparing for the state level examination from Meghalaya, then this particular class video is going to help you a lot in preparing for the English section of your examination. You all must know that the subject of English has a huge weightage in your exams. A large chunk of the total marks is composed of the English portion from the syllabus. So, in this video, regardless of whether you are someone who believes that you are quite weak in the subject of English, or whether you believe that you are someone who is proficient in the subject and the questions that pertain to this subject, I assure you that you will be able to learn a thing or two from this short session that will definitely help you get an edge, an advantage in the exam. So let us get started, and before we start with the questions today, I would like to tell you that the link for the official ADA 24/7 app is provided in the description box below the video. You can click on the link in the description box and download and install the app if you haven't done so yet. Reason being that this app allows you to access a whole lot of free study material resources that will be beneficial for you during your preparation for the exams. Also, watch the video till the very end, because towards the end of the video, I'll be telling you about this particular course that is going to be a big game changer for you in your preparation. So, let's come to the first question. Today, in this session, we are going to be taking a look at questions from the PYQs of the exams from the Meghalaya state exams. So all of these questions that I will be discussing with you today and all the concepts and theories that I will be discussing with you today are directly pertaining to the exams. So make sure that you go through the questions with a sharp, laser sharp focus, and also that you understand the concepts that I'm going to explain while solving these questions. I'm a very concept first kind of a teacher. So if you're watching this video, I guarantee you that you will be learning quite a few helpful concepts through this video that will help you solve various kinds of MCQs from the syllabus of the exam. Let us get started. So the first direction that we have here for the upcoming questions is that in the following questions, there are some sentences that have errors in them. Some might not have errors in them. The underlined words will help you identify which part of the sentence might have an error in it. All right, so make sure that you understand that the question is not saying that there definitely is an error. It's saying that there may or may not be an error. So some of the questions may have the option of no error at all. We have to keep that in mind as well. From the given set of choices, we have to choose the correct alternative for which part of the sentence has an error or what the error is. Also, if there is no error, we can choose D as the option. So we have to mark the correct option here. Let's take a look at it. At the first question, he suggested that we should be bound by a code of conduct, comma, isn't it? So these are your options to replace this particular part of the sentence, the underlined part. So writing or saying isn't it at the end of this particular sentence, is it correct? Let's take a look into the underlying concept of this question. All right. So what you need to understand for this question is that this question is based off of a topic that we discuss in our classes, in our English classes, as the topic of question tag. All right, what's a question tag? Students, you must have seen brands like, say for example, Nike, right? When Nike advertises itself, you get this swoosh logo. Also, you get a tagline, something extra, right? Which helps you identify the brand further. They say, just do it. That's the tagline. So a tag is basically something extra that we add to the primary thing. So Nike is the primary brand name, and you have a tagline, something additional to further help you identify the brand or associate with the brand. Similarly, in this sentence, the person who is speaking this sentence, imagine the person speaking this sentence, the person is saying he suggested that we should be bound by a code of conduct, but the person is not sure about it, or maybe the person has said what he wanted to say, but then wants your opinion on it, your perspective on it. So the person might ask you, don't you feel the same way? So the person is basically asking for your confirmation of what he said. Okay? Whatever the person said, he's asking for your confirmation, your perspective on the same. So this is where the person is going to add a tag or an additional part to the sentence. And since the person is asking you a question, it's called a question tag. All right? Understood the concept, the basic principle of this? Now, we need to understand how to write a question tag. So see, students, in English, we have something called a modal verb. What is a modal verb? We all have learned in school itself that a verb is a word that shows us action, right? Action words. Like right now I'm teaching, you are learning, you are watching this video, you're listening to what I'm saying, I'm writing on the board. So to write, to listen, to teach, to learn, all of these words are action words. The word itself depicts an action. So these are all verbs. But that's not all that a verb is. A verb can have a few other functions as well. So a verb might show you an action, or it may also just help you in other ways without showing an action. So what is the other kind of verb that we have in English? They are called helping verbs. So helping verbs don't show any action, but they help you in a different way. They might help you in completing a sentence. They might help you in expressing the tense of the sentence. They might help you in explaining the mood or the sentiment in which you have expressed the statement. Say, for example, in this particular sentence, this word should is helping you express a sense of responsibility. Yes, when you say should, it means that you are saying that this is our responsibility. We should do this, right? If you would have said we could, that would have changed the meaning. That means we may or may not do it. But when you say we should, that means it's our responsibility. We must do it, right? So this word is helping you in expressing a certain sentiment in the sentence. It's a modal verb. Understood? Clear? It's a helping verb. There is a modal verb. Now, one mistake here. Action, modal verb do not show action. Action words are other words. So we have action verbs, okay? And we also have modal verbs. All right? Here I'm talking about a modal verb. It's helping you to show the sense of responsibility. Since we already have a modal verb in our sentence, the question tag that we add to it, to the sentence at the end, should also use the same modal verb. Understand this. So here we cannot write isn't, because when you write isn't it, it means is it not. You're writing this phrase in short. You're writing is it not in a short form, in a contracted form, isn't it? But here we already have a modal verb should. So our question tag should also have the same modal verb. So we cannot write isn't it. What should we write? We have to write should, but we have to write it in the negative form. Why? Because the sentence is using this word in a positive form. What is positive and negative form? Positive form is you are not using any words such as no, not, never. These words make your sentence a negative sentence. So we are not writing any of these words, right? We are not writing no, we are not writing never, right? So we are not writing not. So these words are not available here. So this sentence is positive. But then the question part, the question tag part has to be the opposite of whatever this is. This is positive, so the question tag has to be negative. So we should write shouldn't it. This should be your answer. Or here we are saying we should, not it should. So we should write should, shouldn't, we. All right. That is going to be the correct answer. Understood? Basically, we have to use the same modal verb that has been used in the main sentence, and we have to see whether the modal verb is a positive word or a negative word. Here it's positive because we are not saying we should not, we are saying we should. It's positive. We are not using the word not, no, or never. So this is positive, so our question tag will be negative. So what is the answer here? The answer here is shouldn't we. So see, I hope you have understood the entire concept of a question tag here. This entire question, we solved it, yes. You may have figured out the answer the moment you saw the question on the screen, but I want you to understand the concept so that whenever you get a question such as this, you know exactly what concept to apply to solve it. Clear? Coming to the next question here. In order to write poetry, one has to be both sensitive and creative. Is the word both correct here? Because that's the underlined word. We have to check that. Or do we need to replace the word both with maybe, say, for example, over? One has to be over sensitive and creative. One has to be so sensitive and creative. One has to be almost sensitive and creative. or do we say that this sentence has no error? We can with confidence say that this sentence is no error. Why? Because we are mentioning two different characteristics. One is the characteristic of being sensitive, and the other one is the characteristic of being creative. We are joining both of them with the conjunction and. A conjunction is a joining word. Instead of writing two different sentences saying that one has to be sensitive, full stop, one also has to be creative, instead of writing it that way, we are combining both those elements, sensitive and creative. Since we are mentioning two attributes, two qualities, sensitivity and creativity, so we can write the word both. Both means two things, right? So since we are mentioning two things, we can write the word both. So therefore, there is no error in this sentence. Clear? Next one. Bees produce sweet honey as its sting is deadly. We know that bees produce honey, and we also know that bees can be very aggressive. They sting if they feel threatened. So now, take a look at the sentence. I hope you have figured out the answer by now. If you haven't, for any reason, then let me explain it to you. See, bees producing honey, sweet honey, it's a positive thing for us, right? This is a positive thing. Don't think of it as like positive in the sense that we are not writing the word no, not. I'm just saying it's a positive thing in general, right? Not in a grammatical sense. In general, it's a positive thing. Bees having a deadly sting, it's a negative thing for us, right? So these two parts of the same sentence are expressing two different ideas. One is a positive idea, the other is a negative idea. So these two things are contrasting, right? There is a contrast between these two parts. So whenever we want, you understand the concept of contrast, right? Like in your cell phones, when you click a photo and you go to the edit section, if you try to edit the picture, if you try to raise the contrast, what happens? The differences between the light and the shadow in the photo, it becomes more prominent, it becomes more obvious. The part that has more light will become brighter. The parts that have shadows in the photo will become even darker. The difference between the light and shadow parts of the photo becomes even clearer, even more vivid. So, contrast means that the difference between two things. So here there is a contrast, there is a difference between these two parts of the sentence. One is a positive thing, one is a negative thing. To express contrast, we do not write as, right? We write the word but. The conjunction that we need to use here, the connecting word that we need to use here, see, why do we need to use a connecting word? Because these would have been two different sentences otherwise. Bees produce sweet honey, full stop. Its sting is deadly, full stop. But instead of writing it as two different sentences, we chose to connect them. So we need to use the correct connecting word. We have to use but. Why? Because the purpose of using the conjunction here is to show a contrast between these two things. Clear? Understood? So every conjunction has its own purpose. We need to understand that. This entire question was based off of the topic of conjunctions. So this is the thing. As and when we are solving these questions, we also need to understand what topics are being focused on in the exams. All right, we need to understand which topics do we need to focus more on. The exam is knocking at the door. So we can't be focused on studying every single thing in the entirety of the English syllabus. Why? Because that is not going to give you the best mileage out of your effort. You need to focus on the topics that actually matter, that have more weightage in the exam. That is the smart way to study. So I am trying to help you understand which concepts you need to focus on here. So conjunction, here again, we are using a connecting word here. Conjunction, here, this concept is based on the topic of question tags. So these are the topics. I'll be highlighting every single topic that is important for you. All of these are PYQs. These PYQs are a guide to show you which topics you need to focus on in your preparation journey. Next sentence, I am tired as I'm working since 7 o'clock in the morning. Tired as I am working since 7 o'clock. See, since 7 o'clock in the morning, you are talking about the duration of time that you have been up working. So here we are focused on the duration, all right? Now, tell me, the duration is mentioning what period of time? It is saying that since 7 till the present moment, that is till now, this is the duration of your work. So, if now means the present moment, all right, and you are starting at 7, okay? 7 till the present moment. The duration is focused on the present moment. What is the duration that has been completed till the present moment? So the tense that we need to use here is going to be some kind of present tense, right? Some kind of present tense. We are sure that we don't have to use past or future tense. Why? Because we are mentioning the present in this sentence. We are focused on the present. Now, there are 4 different types of present tenses, just like there are 4 different types of past tenses and 4 different types of future tenses. What are the 4 types of tenses? If we divide tenses on the basis of time, we get past, present, future. Now, if we divide the tenses on the basis of what we are trying to express in the sentence, then we get 4 different types. Apart from 3 time periods, we get 4 types. What are the 4 types? Simple tense, continuous tense, perfect tense, and perfect continuous tense. Each of them has its own usage, right? If you are trying to focus on the duration, since this sentence, as you see, is trying to give you the information of the duration of the work that is being done till now, we have to use which of these 4 tenses, types of tenses? We have to focus on the perfect continuous tense, the 4th type of tense. This is something you need to inculcate. This is something you need to learn while you are preparing the subject of English. And these are things that I teach in detail in my classes. So here you need to understand, if you're trying to express the information of a duration of time in the present, you have to use present perfect continuous. This is the tense that you need to use. Now, are we using the tense in this sentence? No, this sentence is using, see, I am working. So when you write a subject, right, you're writing I here, and then you write something like is or am or are, one of these helping verbs, and then you write the main action word, like here the word work means to do some work. It's an action word, it's showing an action. If this main action word is written in the ing form, working, we have written here the ing form of the word. This structure is not the present perfect continuous structure. This is the present continuous structure, not the perfect continuous structure. Do we need the present continuous tense here? No. Why? Because the correct tense to use here would be present perfect continuous, since we are focused on the duration. So if we understand this, we understand that we have to use this particular tense, not this one. Now, how do you write the present perfect continuous tense then? The correct way of writing the present perfect continuous tense in English, the structure that we need to understand is this. You have to write the subject, and then you have to write has or have, and then you will write the ing form of the main verb. All right, this is your structure for present perfect continuous. So if you use this structure, you will see that the subject here is I, right? And then with I, you cannot write I has. You have to use I have, right? One more thing. We have to use the word been here, since we are not just writing perfect tense, we are writing perfect continuous tense. So we do have to write another helping verb here, that is been, and we will then write the ing form of the main verb. All right, we have to use this structure. Now, if I follow the structure, I have been, and then I have to write work in the ing form, that will be I have been working. So this underlined part has to be written as I have been working, and that is available in the option B. This is your answer. Why? Because we are focused, the sentence is focused on the duration of the action, and therefore we have to use present perfect continuous, and the perfect continuous, present perfect continuous structure is this. Therefore the answer is option B. Have you understood the answer along with the complete rationale behind it, the complete logic behind it? All right, let's take a look at the next question then. Sheila told her teacher to explain the chapter once again. Told her teacher, is that correct? No, it's not correct. So we cannot say the answer is D. It's not no error. There is an error here. Why? See, this is something circumstantial. This is something situational. This sentence is expressing a situation where a student is requesting a teacher for something. When a student does not understand something once, when the teacher is explaining something, if the student does not understand it in one go, then the student makes a request and then requests the teacher that please explain it once more to me. I didn't understand it the first time. If the teacher is being requested, the teacher is not being told. To tell someone something is to kind of just say it, not request it exactly. We want to express the sentiment that there is a request being made here. So we cannot use the word told. It does not fit this particular situation. All right. So obviously she did not order the teacher. Student is not going to order the teacher. Student might request the teacher, right? She did not just say it in general. She requested for she requested an explanation. In that scenario, we may say Sheila requested her teacher for an explanation, or we may say Sheila asked her teacher to explain the chapter once again. All right. So she asked her teacher for an explanation. That means she requested it. That would be the correct word. That would be the correct word to use in this particular instance, in this particular situation. Clear? Understood? Coming to the next word. Okay, the next question here. The direction that has been given to us is that in the following questions, there are jumbled up sentence parts. Rearrange these parts, which are labeled A, B, C, D, and E, to produce the correct sentence. Choose the correct sequence from the given set of alternatives. All right. So this is basically a rearrangement based question. Now, students, you need to be smart here. Understand this, that whenever you are given rearrangement pattern of MCQ in your exam, they are not just being given to you to check whether you can solve them. Of course you can solve them. These are actually easy to solve. You just need to figure it out, right? That's all you need to do. But the crux here, or the trick here, is to be able to solve them in the shortest possible amount of time. Why? Because rearrangement questions are one of the most time consuming questions in the entire English portion of the question paper. These questions are given to you to test your time or the speed of your answer solving. If you can solve this pattern of question in the shortest amount of time, you'll be saving up a lot of minutes in the exam to be able to apply them in the other sections, to solve your maths questions, to solve your reasoning questions, to solve your GS questions. So we need to be smart about how we go on solving these questions, because we have to be able to save time here. So understand this. Don't try to read the entire thing and solve it by yourself, because if the sentence is easy, then you will be able to solve it just by looking at it, by reading it. But if they amp up the difficulty of this question, of the sentence itself, then you won't have the option to read it and solve it and not waste time. You will be wasting time if you read it. So what you need to do is, you need to stick to the principle of elimination. What is elimination? It means that we will not be reading the entire sentence trying to solve it on our own. We'll just be eliminating the options that have been given to us. Now, you can't eliminate options just because you don't like the way they look, right? You can't just be saying, oh, I don't like how this sentence starts with B. I always prefer the first alphabet to begin with. You can't do all that nonsense, right? You have to be very logical about why are you eliminating a particular option. So the logic that you need to follow is this. First, number one, take a look at the opening statement for each of the options. What is an opening statement? Let me give you an example. See, each of this option has a certain part of the sentence as the starting, right? Like this option is telling you start with this, start with B, that is the. This option is saying that start with C, that is start with where. This option is saying start with E, fascinated by. This option is saying start with D, that is the animals. So you tell me, using your knowledge, using your common sense, which of these can you not use to start a sentence? Which of these would not be a good starting to a sentence? Like D and B, these are good starting to a sentence. You can start a sentence with the word the, you can start a sentence such as the animals, you can start that way. But can you start a sentence directly with the word where? You can start a sentence with the word where if you're trying to write a question, like were you there on time? Question mark. But is this a question based sentence? Is this an interrogative sentence? No. So therefore we cannot start this sentence with sentence part C, right? Similarly, fascinated by, if you start it this way, it just feels like you're jump starting the sentence from somewhere in between. It does not feel like a good starting to it. So this probably is not a good opening statement. Therefore, I'm eliminating this option. All right. The rest of the two I can't eliminate right now because both of them, B and D, they look like good starting to a sentence, like a good start to a sentence. Then let's come to the next point. That is, take a look at the closing statements. So for the remaining two options, let me check the closing statements. One is saying end in sentence part D. The other one is saying end in sentence part A. Both of these look like you can use them to end a sentence with, right? Children, full stop. The animals, full stop. Does not feel like you're left hanging. It feels like it's a solid end to a sentence. So I cannot eliminate right now. So then I'll go to the next thing. That is what I call a mandatory pair. What is a mandatory pair? A pair means a collection of two things. Mandatory means compulsory. So two such part of sentences that have to be written back to back, one after the other. You cannot write it any other way. You cannot put any other sentences in between these two. All right. Can I find some kind of mandatory pair here? I should be able to, because there is this part here, fascinated by. When you say fascinated by, the immediate question that comes to mind is fascinated by what? What are you fascinated by? Fascinated by children or fascinated by the animals? Which one would make sense? Fascinated, see, that means after sentence E, either these two options are saying, this one is saying go to B, that is fascinated by the. Fascinated by the, and then A, fascinated by the children. Or you say E to D, that is fascinated by the animals. I think fascinated by the animals makes more sense. So therefore, instead of using this, first I will read this BACED. Now I will read this option BACED. If I read this, if it gives me a meaningful sentence, this will be my answer. So see, the children were fascinated by the animals. Makes complete sense. That means this is my answer. D is not the correct answer. You may feel, sir, the time you took to go through this process to solve this question, it's way more than me just looking at the sentence and figuring it out. Yes, you may feel that you have figured out this sentence before I even went through this process for this particular question, because this is an easy sentence given to you. But remember what I said. If the sentence is made more complicated, you can't rely on reading this sentence and trying to solve it by yourself. You'll be burning up precious time in the exam. Therefore, you need to learn this process, and every time during your preparation journey, you are practicing a question that is based on rearrangement, practice this methodology. Make sure you are going through this methodology. This will help you refine this process, be able to apply it in an instant and solve any kind of rearrangement question that has been given to you. This helps you save time. This helps you get the correct answer every single time. Once you have gone through all of this and you're left with one option, just read it once to check the flow of the sentence. If it flows well, that means if the sentence makes complete sense, that means your answer is definitely correct, right? And when you leave the exam hall, you will be 110% sure with your answers, because you will know that all the other options are wrong because you have been able to eliminate them logically. That means none of the other options can be correct at all. So the answer you got is 110% correct, right? That's what we are going for. Accuracy and time saving. Take a look at this next question. We'll apply the same process here. All right, I'll not write down the process this time. I'll just show how to apply it. See, let's take a look at the opening statements E, B, D, and B, right? So can we start with B, upbringing? Yeah, that could be an opening to a sentence. Can we start with sentence E, roll in? That does not feel like a proper starting, right? So I'm pretty sure that we cannot start with sentence E. Can we start with sentence D? Personal progress. Yes, that could be a good topic to start a sentence with. So the one I can eliminate on the basis of opening statement is this one, option A, because E is not a good opening statement. What was the next thing? Let's check the closing statements. So for the remaining options, the closing statements are E, B, and D. Can we end in sentence E? Roll in. Roll in what? If you end on this, then you are left with an incomplete sentence. So therefore, obviously E cannot be a good closing, right? Cut it. This option is wrong. Eliminated. Done. B and D, upbringing, full stop, personal progress, full stop. You could use them as endings, right? They don't feel like they'll leave you hanging. So, done. Next, coming to mandatory pairs. Like I said, roll in what? Try to figure this out. Roll in what? Roll in, what are the options? After E, either you go to B or you go to D. Roll in upbringing or roll in personal progress. Either one could be correct, right? But then there's one other important clue. Plays an. We have an article an, after which, see, after an, you always go for a vowel sound. We know this rule, right? If you don't, then I hope you learn it today. That after the word an, we always write a word which starts with a vowel sound. We cannot write a word that starts with a consonant sound. What's a vowel sound? That means A, E, I, O, U. A word that starts with one of those sounds. So here, the only other word that we have, there are two actually, an upbringing or an important, because when you say upbringing, you're pronouncing it as upbringing. If you're saying important, you're pronouncing it as E, important, right? So therefore, after A, you can either go to B or you can go to C. There's no other option, because the rest of the two, these do not have vowel sounds at the start. So I see here that they are saying after A, I need to go to C. Both of them are saying the same thing. All right, then we have understood that we are saying plays an important. Important what? Important is an adjective, right? After this adjective, we need to write something that we are describing as important. What are we describing as important? Important role, right? An important role. That makes sense. So what I understand here is A, C, and E. This is our series, right? So now the question remains, both of them are saying A, C, E. Either you start with D and go to A, or you start from B and go to A. That is where the answer lies. Can I say personal progress plays an, or do I say upbringing plays an important role? Upbringing plays an important role in personal progress makes more sense than personal progress plays an important role in upbringing, right? Personal progress comes later, upbringing comes earlier. So the sequence has to be that upbringing comes first, personal progress comes later. So with that logic, I can say that B has to be written first and D has to be written at the end, not the other way around. So option C is wrong. The correct answer is option D. Clear? That way, logically, you will be able to ascertain that your answer is correct 100% of the time. Okay? Similarly, try to solve this one. Again, similar pattern of question, just a different sentence. The direction that you have to follow is the same. Have you been able to solve it? Because this question should be solved instantly. It's pretty easy. Just apply the process. You'll figure out the answer immediately. Right? Did you figure out the answer? If you didn't, take a look at this. You have the word and, which means after this you need a vowel sound. Which part of this sentence is a vowel sound? V, H, M, unexpected, which is like the sound that we begin with. The pronunciation is unexpected. A, E, I, O, U, it starts with A. So therefore, this is the word that you need to go to. That means after sentence part A, you definitely have to go to sentence part D. This option has that, this option has that, the rest of the options don't have this criteria fulfilled. So we can eliminate option B and option D on the basis of that. Understood? Now, out of the remaining two options, you see both of them have this series A, D, E, right? And then C, B. So now the question becomes, do you go from E to C or not? Victory made. Makes sense. But if you go from C to B, victory him popular. Sorry, made him popular. Okay, that also makes sense. Made him popular, and if you go from C to B to A, it does not make much sense. But if you go from A, D, E, C, B, you get an unexpected victory made him popular. That makes sense. So this option is wrong. This option is correct. Clear? Basically, I'm solving these rearrangement questions from the options itself. I'm letting the options guide my answer. I'm not trying to answer it myself. That would be me taking a risk in terms of the time that I spend on the question. Clear? And in the exam, when you are already nervous, you've already got 1,000 emotions running through your entire nervous system and your mind is muddled. You don't want to invest mental energy into something where you can just rely on the options to help you, right? Keep that in mind. That is where smart work lies. All right, that is where a smart approach lies. Next one, try to solve this by yourself. So, did you figure it out? Because now your speed should be developed. Now try to focus on your speed. See, you have this word admired here. So try to figure out who admired what, right? Admired who? Who admired what? So there is this one word, they. You can say they admired something, right? That makes sense. So after C, you should be going to sentence E. This is a mandatory pair. Which options do not have that? Here you have these option, you have this option, but in these two sentences, you do not have that. In these two options, you do not have that option. So we can eliminate these two because they are saying you go to some other sentence part apart from E. That is not correct. And then we have B and D common to both of these remaining options. Now the question becomes, do we start from sentence A or do we end on sentence A? So if I go from A to C, it becomes the coastline day. That makes no sense. It's just a random jump in words, right? But if I read it as this, C-E-B-D-A, then I get, they admired the rugged beauty of the coastline. That makes sense. So therefore, my answer should be option B. As simple as that. Clear, students? Got it? Done? All right, coming to the next question. In accordance dash to regulations, one must apply for the scheme. So this is a question based on preposition, which is one of the most important and you can say one of the favorite topics of examiners when it comes to the English portion of any government exam. So you want to be able to solve these questions correctly every single time. Your concept of prepositions has to be strong, which is something I focus very much in my classes. So I always take additional classes for the topic of prepositions with students because I know that this is a topic that will definitely show up in the exam with a lot of weightage behind it. So you'll definitely want to be able to solve these kind of questions properly every single time. Even in practice, you need to put in a lot of time or at least sufficient time while practicing prepositions. So here, which would be correct? See, whenever you're saying in accordance, you always write it as in accordance with XYZ, in accordance with something. So like here we are saying the regulations, we will say in accordance with the regulations. All right, we do not use any other preposition when it comes to this phrase, in accordance. All right, we always write in accordance with. Remember this. So therefore, what should be the answer? The answer here is option B, with. Clear? Understood? Remember this phrase, in accordance with. Note it down if you need to. Next one, the speaker's dash remarks left the audience in awe. His words were both profound and enlightening. All right, this question is based purely on vocabulary. All right, it's testing your vocabulary. You know the meanings of different words. You know which word to apply in which situation. So here, take a look at the situation being presented to you in this particular sentence. The situation is that some speaker made some statements, some remark in front of an audience, which wowed the audience. It basically made the audience go wow. They were in awe. They were inspired. All right. And his words were both profound. They had deep meaning behind them. What is profound? Profound, when something is said to be profound, it means it has a lot of gravity and meaning behind it. And what is enlightening? Something that gives you more information and more knowledge than what you began with. So now, which of these words would modify this sentence, would make sense in this sentence? When you say mundane, mundane means boring. Mundane means something which is boring, something which is dull. All right. In simpler words, you can use these words as synonyms for this word. Similar meaning words. All right. When you say pithy, the word pithy means direct. All right. Concise and something which is very clear in itself. All right. Something which gives you clarity. When you say banal, banal is basically another synonym of the word mundane. Banal means mundane or tedious or boring. Tedious means something that is repetitive, something that bores you. It is tiresome work, but it is boring at the same time, right? So that's the meaning or similar words for banal. Insipid, similar meaning. When you say mundane, boring, you can also say insipid. It's pretty much in the same territory of meaning. So now you tell me, which word do you think makes sense here in this situation? See, the sentence is saying that the speaker's words inspired the people, right? If it was inspiring, right? If it was so inspiring, it definitely cannot be insipid. Why? Because if it is insipid, it's not going to generate motivation in people. Insipid things usually, they are very dull, all right? So that's not going to make sense here. Banal, not going to make sense. It's so boring. Why are people finding it so wow? Why are people getting so wowed by it? Why are people finding it so profound? If it is mundane, why are people finding it so profound? Again, same question. So the only word that makes sense here is pithy. All right. So all of these words, students, understand this. In the PYQs, whenever you're going through the PYQs, even when I am discussing the PYQs in the class, understand this. For vocab-based questions, don't just focus on what is the answer to this question. Go through all the words that have been given to you in the options. Why? Because maybe in one particular year, they asked you a question where this word is the answer. Maybe this year, they might give you these similar words, and this time maybe mundane might be the answer, maybe banal might be the answer, maybe insipid will be the answer. So you have to know the meanings of these words. These are the words they keep recycling to set questions in the exam. Understand this pattern when it comes to setting the exam question paper. So if you understand that, you will feel that you are not lost at sea when it comes to vocabulary, that you have a proper compass in understanding which words to study for vocabulary. Otherwise, this is one common complaint that I have from students, that vocabulary is such a vast thing to study. Where do I start? Where do I end? So this is my suggestion to you. Go through the PYQs, study all the words that have been given in the previous year questions, whether it be synonyms, antonyms, whether it be one-word substitutions, whether it be idioms and phrases, right? Go through all the words that have been given in all of the options, whether they are the right option or the wrong option. Those are the words that keep appearing and reappearing in the exam year after year. All right? They are the ones that need to be given first priority when it comes to vocab. Next, antonym for the word eschewed. Okay, so for this, there's no other way. You need to understand the meaning of the word eschewed. Otherwise, you won't be able to tell the answer correctly here. So either it's followed, praised, destroyed, or avoided, which is the opposite word of eschewed. Now, what does eschew mean? Eschew means to avoid something. All right, eschewed means avoided. Do we have that? Yeah, we do have that option here. This D. This is the synonym. All right, this is the synonym. So say, for example, you can use this word in a sentence such as, someone who is conscious about their health will eschew junk food. That means someone who is conscious about their health will avoid junk food. That is what we are saying. Eschew, basic word, common word that we all know, is avoid. Same meaning. So what would be the antonym? Now be careful here. Be careful whether the question is asking you for synonym or an antonym. Be very mindful of this in the exam as well. And how will you be able to be mindful of this in the exam? By being mindful of it in practice itself. So whenever you're solving synonyms and antonyms based questions, always read the question, even if you feel like all of the questions are asking for synonyms only. No. Read the question every single time. Here it is asking for an antonym. So what is the opposite of avoid? To follow. That would be the opposite word. You are not avoiding it, you are instead following it. So followed is the correct answer here. All right? Understood? Okay? Next one. Choose the correct indirect form of the given sentence. All right, this is a very important pattern of question. This is based on narration. All right, narration, or what you call reported speech. So for narration, we do need to understand a few things here, which we'll be able to understand through this question itself. See, my friend said, comma, I'm leaving today. This is direct speech. Why direct speech? Because these are the exact or direct words that this friend of yours said. This is exactly how the person said it, right? You are just reporting it on his behalf, but these are his exact words. These are not your words. How do I understand that? How do we understand that? By reading the sentence, because this part is in quotation marks. When you're using quotation marks, that means these are somebody else's words, not your words. So this is direct speech, directly using the original speaker's words. So now you have to write it in indirect speech. So see, this word said, that friend of yours, he or she said something, right? To say something is, it's an action that the person took. So it's an action word. So this is basically a verb. And this verb is doing what in this sentence? It's helping you report what this person said. Maybe your friend said this, you came up to me and said, sir, my friend said I'm leaving today. That means you are reporting to me what your friend said. So this verb, this action word is helping you report what that friend of yours said. So this is called the reporting verb. In narration-based questions, this is called a reporting verb, the word that helps you report what the person said. Now, always check what is the tense of this reporting verb. Whenever you are solving narration-based questions, just check what is the tense of this reporting verb. Is it present tense, past tense, or future tense? Are you saying my friend says? No. Are you saying my friend will say? No. You are saying my friend said. That means in the past. All right. The person already said it. So this is in the past. So the reporting verb is in the past tense. Always check the tense of the reporting verb first before you do anything else. Now you see the reporting verb is in past tense, right? Whenever the reporting verb is in past tense in the direct speech, in indirect speech, we will have to change the tense of this part of the sentence, the part which is the reporting part. This is what the friend said, right? The friend said, I am leaving today. What is this tense? This is present continuous. I am leaving today. Present continuous tense. So when we are writing in indirect speech, we will have to change this present continuous tense to something else. What will we change it to? Remember, if the given sentence is using present tense, we will just transform it to the same past tense. Same past tense means this is present continuous. We will write it as past continuous. Why? Because the reporting verb is in past tense. If the reporting verb was not in the past tense, had it been in the present or future tense, I would not have changed this tense. Understood? So we have to change the tense of what is being reported if the reporting verb is in past tense. So this is what I will check first always, the reporting verb. If it is in past tense, I will know that I'll have to change this tense. What tense do we have to change it to? If the sentence is in any present tense, we will just change it to the same past tense. That means if the sentence is in simple present tense, I'll change it to simple past tense. If the sentence is in present continuous tense, like in this question, I'll change it to past continuous tense. If the sentence is in present perfect tense, I'll change it to past perfect. If it is in present perfect continuous, I'll change it to past perfect continuous. Understood? Clear? But we will do this, we'll make this change only if the reporting verb is in past tense. Otherwise, we don't need to make this change in tense. All right? So, if I have to write it as past continuous, how do I write it? What is the structure for past continuous tense? The structure for past continuous tense is this. After writing the subject, we write was or were, depending on the subject, and then we write the ing form of the main verb. So, therefore, I am leaving, it will become, and see, in your own words, that is in indirect speech, can you refer to your friend as I? No, in your own words, in indirect speech, you will refer to your friend as he or she, right? So I will write he or she, third person singular, so I cannot write where, I'll have to write was, right? Subject was, and then ing form the verb, that is, the verb is leaving, right? Yeah, we'll write leaving, ing form. Leave will be written as leaving. So he or she was leaving. Here we are writing he is living. Here we are writing he lives. Here we are writing he was leaving, and here we are writing he was leaving as well. So two options are wrong instantly. This is wrong and this is wrong. So option A and C have been eliminated. Now out of the remaining two options, they are both using the past continuous tense. So far correct, both of them. But then the last word, this sentence is writing today, this is writing that. This is being written as that day. Which is correct? You cannot write today as today. Why? Because in direct speech, the original person, that friend of yours, that person said, I'm leaving today. Maybe that person said that to you on, say for example, the 20th of this month. All right. Maybe on 20th, your friend said, hey, I'm leaving today. That means the person is leaving on 20th. Now maybe you are reporting this to me on, say for example, the 25th of the month. And if you say, my friend said that he was leaving today, then I will understand that your friend is leaving on 25th. Is that information correct? No, because your friend already left on 20th, right? So this is the concept that you need to understand, that when a person originally says something and you hear it, and then you go and report it to somebody else, time may have passed in between. Maybe the original person said it on 20th and now you're reporting it on the 25th. So 5 days have already passed. So this passage of time is what we have to keep in mind when we are reporting things, when we are converting sentences from direct to indirect speech or vice versa. So therefore, we have to write today as that day, so that if you are reporting this to me, I understand that you are saying that your friend was leaving that day, the day when you met your friend and you were talking to that person, not today when you have come to me and reported it to me. Understood? Then the information becomes correct. If you are on 25th reporting to me that my friend said that he was leaving that day, I will understand the day when you met him, that is on 20th. Then the information stays correct. All right. So therefore, I cannot write today as today in indirect speech. I'll have to write it as that day. Similarly, in indirect speech, we do not write yesterday as yesterday. If direct speech sentence is saying yesterday, we will write it in indirect speech as the previous day. Understood? That is the logic behind it, that there time may have passed in between, right? This passage of time is what is the logic behind it, of why we are changing these words. If the direct sentence is using the word tomorrow, we will write, in indirect speech, we'll write the next day. Usually in textbooks, you just get this has to be written this way, but I'm teaching you the concept behind it. There's a logic to it, why we are writing it that way. Clear? Because one is reporting exactly what the person said, the other is reporting how you would say it if time has passed in between. Clear? So answer is, my friend said I'm leaving today. In indirect speech, my friend said that he was leaving that day. So two things you have learned in this question while solving this question. One, to test the tense of the reporting verb and accordingly changing the tense, and also that time-based words like today, yesterday, tomorrow, they are modified in indirect speech. All right. Choose the correct antonym for the word boon. If you're writing the word boon, the opposite word would be, out of these four options, the correct answer is hindrance. Why? Because boon means an advantage that has been given to you, something that is favorable to you. That is the meaning of the word boon. Okay? You worship a god, you ask your god for something, and then God gives it to you. It's a boon, it's a blessing, it's something that will work in your favor, it will give you an advantage. So advantage would be a synonym here, right? But if you're saying antonym, then you have to go for hindrance, because a hindrance is some kind of a blockade, some kind of a disadvantage. All right. Prodigy means somebody who is, in terms of skill, way ahead of their peers, way ahead of other people in their same age group. Those kind of people are called prodigy, like a child prodigy, a child who is maybe very good at music at an age where other people of his or her age can't play those kind of things on an instrument. That child can play it. Something that only people who are in their 30s can have put in years of work to master, that child can play it without much training at all. That is a prodigy. All right. In any field, maybe it may be in academics, it may be in music, dance, sports, whatever. Annihilation, total destruction. Total, complete, and utter destruction is referred to as annihilation. All right. So answer here is B. And I hope you have understood the meaning of all the other words as well, because all of them might be important for the exam. Next, my brother's zest for the new project was infectious. Zest. Okay, we have to choose the best alternative that expresses the closest meaning of the underlined word. What is the meaning of this word? Zest. The correct word to use here would be, what is the meaning of this word zest? The correct answer here is enthusiasm. All right, the correct meaning of this word here is enthusiasm. Why? Because zest means the excitement or the energy to do something, the enthusiasm to do something. So the other word that can directly replace this word while maintaining the same meaning is enthusiasm. My brother's enthusiasm for the new project was infectious. Clear? That is the answer. So students, I hope in this session today you have been able to understand a lot of these concepts that I have discussed while solving these questions, and also been able to understand what kind of topics and concepts are important in the exam. Where do you have more weightage? Synonyms, antonyms, even one-word substitutions are important for you. In upcoming classes, I will be discussing those as well. Idioms are important for you. They will be asking you the meanings of idioms. They will be asking you to replace one idiom with maybe another idiom that has a similar meaning. Those kind of situations. You will be asked questions about prepositions. You'll be asked questions about tense. You'll be asked questions based on direct and indirect speech. You will have to know the rules for them. All right. You'll be asked fill in the blank questions, and the fill in the blanks might test your grammar. It might also test your vocabulary. So all of this have to be covered during the preparation stage, and we are covering all of this in this particular course that we have bought for you. A lot of effort, a lot of time and focus has been put into creating and designing this course for you students. So all of you who are really serious about cracking your MPSC LDA exam, I would urge you to look into this course. You can call this number, let them know that you watched maybe Shubham sir's class on YouTube and you wanted to make an inquiry about this course that was showed to you through the video during the class. Let them know that, and then ask them about details about this course. Or you may also read about and check out the course yourself through the Ada 24/7 app. The app link has been given to you in the description box below. The course link will also be given to you in the description box below. You can read up about the course and see whether it works for you or not. This is a crash course MCQ batch, students. All the faculties of Ada 24/7 Northeast will be handling their individual subjects with you, and they'll be teaching you all the important MCQs that are pertaining to the exam, and they will be teaching you all the important concepts, tips, tricks, rationale behind all of these questions that you need to know to be able to solve them every single time correctly in the exam. So a very exam-oriented, exam-focused and dedicated course for you. It will be very beneficial for you if you're somebody who is not sure about your preparation for the exam, or if you want to ensure that you get the best out of your preparation and crack the exam in one go. Definitely go through the course details. Call this number if you want to, and you can check out the course details through the course link given to you in the description box as well. We will be starting this batch from 1st August. So from 1st August till 21st August, you will get 3 complete weeks where I'll be covering all of the concepts of all the subjects in depth, in detail, and we'll be taking you through all the important MCQ patterns of the examination, and this will definitely help you crack the exam. And if you want to join the course, make sure that you note this code. This will help you get the course at the lowest possible price through the other 24/7 app. So this Y577 is one of the faculty codes. This is my faculty code. So what happens with the faculty codes is that we give them away. We let you know the faculty code through our YouTube classes so that any student who has come to YouTube to see our classes get a benefit out of the time they have invested in the YouTube class, so that if they join a course down the line, they can use this faculty code that is shared to you through the YouTube classes, and you may get the course at the least possible price so that education stays affordable for all students out there. So Y577 is my code. Use this code when you join the course through the other 24/7 app. There may be a code applied automatically when you visit the app, but regardless of whatever codes you're using, the faculty codes always give you the best possible value for your money. So use this code Y577. It will definitely help you while joining our courses. Also, if you want practice material for English, vocabulary content for English, you will get all of that through my Telegram group as well. My Telegram group is open for all. You can join the Telegram group. I'll be providing the link for you in the comment section below. So you can go to the comment section, click on the link that is given to you, and you can join my English Telegram group as well. It's a community of a lot of students there, and you can join that group, go through all the free material provided to you there as well, and work on your English on a daily basis for the exams. Also, app link is given to you in the description box below. My classes are available for you on YouTube as well. English by Shubham Sir, you just need to search that and you will get the classes on YouTube, and English by Shubham Sir is also the name of the Telegram group itself. So you can search for the Telegram group by typing in English by Shubham Sir as well. If you like this session, definitely hit the like button, share it with your friends, share it with your brothers, sisters, whoever is preparing for the exam up ahead. Also, I would highly urge you all to join the course, the crash course, if you are really serious about cracking this exam in one go. Let me know in the comment section if you like this class video, and if you want further classes, if you want particular topics to be covered for the examination, definitely let us know in the comment section. Comments is open to you all, and we look into the comments very sincerely, and let us know whatever your thoughts are regarding this class and whatever you want in terms of classes in the future. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure that you subscribe to other 24/7 Northeast and keep following for English with me. Take care. I'll be seeing you in the future.